My beloved child, tonight I call your name in the stillness. When every earthly sound has faded and only the rhythm of your heart beats in harmony with mine, I will speak. Do not rush to sleep, for in these 7 sacred minutes, I will reveal what your soul must hear to be set free. You have passed through many long nights with tearful eyes, with questions left unanswered, with memories that cling too tightly to release. You have believed you were abandoned, that your heart was shattered by the very hands that once vowed to protect it. But tonight, in the breath of truth, I come to open the eyes of your spirit, to show you that you were never forsaken, you were rescued. I have seen you on those nights when you pressed your face into the pillow, muffling your sobs so no one would hear. Those quiet tears never fell to the ground, they fell into the palm of my hand. Each one carries weight. Each one holds the silent cry of a soul melting under sorrow. I count them as a jeweler counts his finest gems, for your tears are not meaningless. They testify to loyalty, to the purity of love you gave, and they are also proof that you have been refined in the furnace of heartbreak. When you ask me, why did they leave when I loved them? With all I had I heard. When you whispered, if I had been better, if I had been more patient, would they have stayed? I heard that too. Yet, my child, sometimes it is your very kindness that others exploit, and your patience becomes the chain that binds you to what I never meant you to keep. You thought their departure was a loss, but it was protection. You did not lose that person, you were saved from them. There are people whose absence is the answer to the prayer for peace you once prayed. You asked me for tranquility, but you did not realize that true peace cannot dwell where darkness still has a hold. So I removed them from your path, not to wound you, but to heal what you could not see was broken. Just as I led Israel out of Egypt, not because they were ready, but because to stay was to die in bondage, so I led you out of that attachment, even as you clung to it. You wept, believing you were abandoned, but in truth you were being delivered from the sweet prison of illusion that had ensnared your soul. I know you still remember their eyes, their voice, their sweet promises that now echo like distant thunder. You look back and ask, were they ever sincere? I tell you, perhaps there were moments of emotion, but their affection was not rooted in truth. They loved what you gave more than who you were. They admired your gentleness, yet could not bear its depth. They basked in your light, yet never intended to live in it. You were a mirror reflecting purity they could not face, and so they withdrew. Not because you were unworthy, but because your light exposed what they tried to conceal. As when Jesus entered the temple and the deceitful fled before his radiance, so too your presence unveiled what was hidden within them. I know you tried to understand. You searched for reasons why someone who once professed love could turn away so coldly, as if you were nothing. You combed through memories, hoping to find a warning sign, but there was none. Betrayal is rarely loud. It moves quietly through promises and smiles, striking deepest when least expected. But I saw it all. When you still trusted me, I saw the cracks forming in their words. When you still smiled, I saw their gaze drift elsewhere. When you prayed for them, I heard the selfish thoughts they hid. And while you believed everything was fine, I had already begun the plan to protect you. For I do not wait for the storm to rise before building the wall, I act before danger comes. You think they abandoned you. But if they truly had the power to leave, that would mean I was not holding you, and that cannot be. For I am the keeper of your soul. Nothing departs from you without passing through my hand. If I allowed them to go, it is because I knew they no longer belonged to your next chapter. I will not let you drag the weight of expired bonds, for they would only weary you and hinder the blessing ahead. Just as the vine must be pruned to bear more fruit, so must you be freed from branches that no longer give life. The pruning hurts, yes, but only for a moment. Then new fruit will bloom from the very place that once bled. My child, their departure is not the end of your story. It is merely a pause before the next sentence. If I did not take away, you would never make room for what is real. If I did not let you taste loss, you would never understand the treasure of what I preserve. If I did not allow betrayal, you would never learn the wisdom of discernment. The love I give you is not indulgent, it is refining. I do not shield you from fire. I shape you within it so you may emerge as pure gold. And in that fire all that is false is consumed, leaving only what cannot be destroyed, that which is truly you, the soul I guard. Just as Joseph was sold by his brothers, yet in that betrayal my plan began, so too the wound you see today is the very path I am using to bring you into promise. You think they cast you into a pit, but I used that pit to protect you from a famine yet to come. You think you were forgotten, but I was sheltering you from a storm that had not yet broken. Do not see your pain as proof of abandonment. See it as the incision through which I draw the poison from your soul. For if I did not, it would fester quietly, stealing the peace I have sown in you. Tonight, my child, I want you to understand this pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. The tears you thought were signs of weakness are in fact cleansing your soul. The unanswered questions are not proof of silence, but the sacred pauses I create so you can listen more deeply. When you have nothing left to hold on to, that is when I can hold you completely. When your strength is gone, that is when my power is revealed. You think you have fallen, but in truth I have laid you down only to lift you up again, not by your strength, but by mine. And now I say to you, stop counting your wounds and begin to count what remains, because I am still here. I have never left you even when you thought I was silent. I was only waiting until you let go of the old, so I could pour out the new. Just as new wine cannot be contained in old wineskins, your soul cannot receive new blessings while it is still filled with fermented memories. Tonight, let me change the wineskin. Let me erase the image of the one who betrayed you, not through forgetfulness, but through healing. For when I heal, you will remember without pain, look back without bitterness, and speak their name without bleeding. My child, take a deep breath and know that this is the breath of freedom. You are no longer bound by the promises of one who turned away, nor driven by the fear of abandonment. You have been redeemed from the cycle of hurt. You no longer need to prove your worth by keeping anyone close. You are worthy simply because you were created in the image of the Almighty. I have sealed my name upon your forehead, the mark of one chosen one, no longer defined by rejection. From this night onward, you will step out of the shadows of the past and into the light of truth. You have not been lost, you have been saved. Now listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. What I am about to say is not for blame, but for revelation. There are layers unseen that surround what you call betrayal, but I call exposure. Not every loss is a punishment, and not every departure is a failure. Some things are removed from your life simply because I will not allow unholy hands to touch what is sacred within you. Some people are permitted to enter your story for only a season, not to stay, but to teach. When that season ends, I close the door. But because you try to keep it open, pain becomes my messenger, reminding you their time is over. You once asked me, why them? Why the one I trusted? My beloved, if betrayal had come from an enemy, it would not have pierced you deep enough to transform you. It had to come through love so that the wound would break every illusion and reveal what is real. In that very moment, I showed you the essence of pure love, the kind that gives without losing itself, that loves without compromising truth. I did not allow betrayal to harden you, but to teach you to love with my eyes, not your blinded emotions. For love without wisdom becomes bondage, but love in me leads to freedom. I never act without purpose. When I take away, it is to replace with what is greater. When I allow the night, it is to teach you to see in darkness. Betrayal was no accident, it was part of your refining. I allowed it so you would see the limits of humanity, so you would stop placing eternal trust in what is imperfect. You once loved that person as if they were your source of life, but I alone am the source. You once sought peace in their words, but true peace does not come from human tongues. You once believed you could not live without them, yet here you are still breathing, still standing stronger than ever. That is proof that my power within you is greater than the pain they caused. My child, that betrayal was not merely the result of human weakness. It was part of a spiritual battle surrounding your soul. When you carry light, darkness will always seek to dim it. The enemy cannot touch you directly, so he works through those who might cause you to doubt yourself. He uses them to drain your strength to make you question my voice within. But remember, he has no final authority. Everything he meant for harm I can turn for good. He does not realize that through his schemes I am building you. He wanted you to doubt my love, but in the darkness he created you, found me more clearly than ever. When you clung to that person, I could not speak to you fully. They were the noise between us. Every time I whispered, their voice drowned mine out. Each time I tried to teach you discernment, emotion pulled you away. But when they left, the sky grew still, and in that stillness, you began to hear me not with your ears, but with your spirit. That is why this night of sorrow is precious. It marks the beginning of our true conversation. You are no longer listening through emotion, but through faith. No longer seeing with the natural eye, but with the vision of the soul. It is in what you thought was emptiness that I have begun laying the new foundation for your strength. You have walked through this pain like Jeremiah weeping over the ruins of Jerusalem. But my child, as it is written in Lamentations 3:22-23, it is because of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. I tell you now, those mercies are being renewed tonight. You are no longer defined by abandonment, but by the faithfulness of the one who never left. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but the living testimony that I can turn every wound into a miracle of restoration. Look back and see. Was it not in the days you thought you couldn't endure that I lifted you? Was it not when no one remained beside you that I became your refuge? You thought you were weak, but I turned that weakness into strength. You thought you were shattered, but I pieced you together with the gold of grace, as the Japanese mend broken pottery through kintsugi, making beauty from the cracks. So do not be ashamed of your past. It is the place where I touched you. Every fracture in your heart is now evidence that I have been there. Every tear that fell bears witness that my grace has soaked into the depths of your soul. This betrayal did not come to destroy you, it came to purify you. It stripped away false hopes, blind beliefs, and the habit of placing others upon the throne that belongs only to me. It taught you that kindness needs no proof, and love needs no begging for recognition. It taught you to stand alone with dignity, not because you are unfeeling, but because you know I stand with you. And when you know I am there, you no longer need human approval to feel worthy. You have found your true identity, not in the eyes of others, but in the gaze of your God. Just as Job, who lost everything, once declared, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Job 4:2-5. So my child, I am bringing you to that very place. Once you only heard about my love, now you will experience it. You will see my hand, not only in miracles, but also in loss. You will come to know that I am not only the giver, but also the keeper, and sometimes keeping means taking away. Therefore, do not fear when I close a door, for every door I close leads to a better one. Believe this: if something is leaving your life, what is coming carries far greater value. I never take without giving. I never allow pain without purpose. I am never silent without preparing something magnificent. My child, let this night mark the border between what has been and what will be. Do not let old memories hold your soul hostage for another season. Open your hands not merely to let go, but to receive, for only empty hands can grasp new blessings. You have held on to fragments for too long, and because of that, there has been no space for wholeness. Tonight I say to you, let go. Not because of disappointment, but because of trust. Not because hope has died, but because what is coming surpasses your understanding. Let go in faith, for your hands will not fall into emptiness. They will fall into mine. This is the hour of revelation, my beloved. Let my light reach the deepest corners of your being, the places you have hidden from yourself. Let me wash every wound with the oil of grace. Let the last tears fall as a sacred cleansing, for after this night you will no longer cry over what has passed. When dawn rises, you will awaken changed, lighter, brighter, and nearer to me. I will give you a new heart, a new vision, and new strength to walk forward. Do not fear the dark, for it is in the dark that I breathe new life. When you hear my voice calling in the night, it is the sign that a new day is beginning. Not a single wound within you is meaningless, and not one of your nights has been wasted. Everything you have endured has been woven with precision into my design. You are not lost, you are being led. You are not abandoned, you are being prepared. Do not fear when you no longer recognize the person you used to be, for I am renewing your soul day by day, as dawn slowly colors the still sea after the storm. My light is shining into the deepest parts of your heart where darkness once dwelt, not to expose you to the world, but to restore what the world has wounded. You once thought you needed strength to survive, but true strength is not found in suppressing your emotions. It is found in facing your pain in my presence. Only when you stop hiding can I begin to heal. Only when you allow me to touch the places you fear to look upon can I turn them into my dwelling place. My healing does not come through forgetting, but through transformation. I do not erase memory, I sanctify it. I do not deny your past, I redeem it. And when I redeem, all that once brought pain becomes the birthplace of wisdom, compassion, and a new authority that only the broken can carry. Beloved child, nothing in my plan is wasted. Even your tears bear fruit. You once sowed in sorrow, but you will reap in songs of joy. I am turning your weeping into worship, your shame into glory, and your betrayal into testimony of my faithfulness. Just as Joseph stood before those who had sold him and said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good," so too will it be with you. What others meant for your harm I am using to bring you to your destiny. That betrayal, instead of dimming your light, has made it shine brighter, because your fire now burns not from emotion but from faith. You will see that your pain was the beginning of a grand restoration. Through loss you learn to cling to what cannot be lost. Through silence you learn to hear my voice. Through rejection you learn to recognize true love. And through loneliness you learn to walk with me. I do not want your heart to grow closed in fear, but to become discerning, to love rightly in the right way at the right time. True love does not drain, it refreshes. It does not bind, it frees. It does not make you smaller, it expands your soul in peace. This is the kind of love I am planting anew within you. Love purified from illusion and dependency. When I say let go, I am not asking you to abandon your dreams, but to release your illusions. When I say do not look back, I am not erasing your memories, but asking you not to live inside them anymore. The past may teach, but it must not lead. Step out of the familiarity of pain, for ahead lies the promised land of rest. Like Israel leaving Egypt, they escaped the land, yet their hearts longed to return. I do not want you merely freed in body, but in spirit. I do not only want to rescue you from the one who hurt you, but from the patterns that keep leading you back to such people. When you truly release, not only will the old door close, but the new one will open, and my light will guide you through. I know sometimes you still remember and wonder how it might have ended differently. But let me tell you this, if they truly belonged to you, nothing could have made them leave. And if I allowed them to go, nothing could bring them back without destroying what I am now building. Trust that my hand is skillful enough to turn all things at the appointed time. When I close a door, I do not leave you standing in the cold. I lead you toward another, where someone will see you, as I see you, love you, with the faithfulness I give, and walk beside you in the same rhythm of faith. You do not have to chase blessings, for true blessings never require pursuit. They will find you when you are standing where I have destined you to be. Now, my child, I want you to do something. Breathe out the old. Let your breath become a surrender to my will. Let your heart cease its resistance, its striving to understand its endless calculations. Allow the remaining tears to fall freely, for they are the final drops of a chapter that is closing. When you give all of this to me, I will fill you with what is new. You will feel a stillness that is no longer emptiness, but peace overflowing. You will sense a silence that is no longer frightening but sacred. For when no other voices crowd between us, you will hear mine more clearly than ever before. And in that voice you will know you are not forgotten, you are remembered, you are not replaced, you are chosen. I am preparing you to step into a new season, a season of light after darkness, of beginnings after ruins. What you once thought was an ending is in my eyes only a prelude. You will see old prayers answered in ways you never imagined. You will witness blessings blossom upon the very soil watered by your tears. You will see what once collapsed rebuilt, not with the same fragile stones, but with the eternal materials of faith, wisdom, and grace. Every loss you have suffered will be restored many times over, not only through what you receive, but through who you have become in the process. Therefore, rise up. You are no longer the wounded, you are the witness of restoration. You no longer look back, you look ahead. You no longer live with the question, why, but in the declaration, I know and I trust. Walk gently, for the past has fallen from your shoulders like an old garment. Walk boldly, for my glory stands before you. Walk peacefully, for I have fought for you, and victory is already sealed. My child, this night closes, but your soul opens. I have spoken everything you need to begin anew. From now on, you will no longer tremble at the mention of their name, no longer shrink when memories return, no longer wonder if you were ever enough. You will walk as one who knows they are loved, chosen, and kept. I am with you. I am within you. And I will go before you, leveling every rough place, bending every scheme, so you may pass through covered in glory. Sleep in peace, my beloved, not because you are escaping, but because you are healed. Tonight I grant you the restful sleep of the redeemed, that when morning comes you will rise, renewed, a bearer of my light in this world. My beloved, when your soul has calmed after the storm, I will lead you deeper into the truth. You must know, true freedom is not merely escaping those who hurt you. It is deliverance from the invisible chains that have bound your heart for so long. You thought your greatest wound came from what they did, but the real bondage was in your thoughts, in the belief that you must endure pain to be loved, in the fear that if you stopped striving, you would lose your worth. This is not just the story of a relationship. It is the old pattern the enemy planted long ago, wearing many different faces across the years. And I tell you today, it is time for me to shatter those chains. From the beginning I created you in my image, free, whole, radiant with light. But the world, through its whispers and illusions, made you believe you had to earn love, to struggle for acceptance, to sacrifice yourself to keep peace. Each time you accepted what was not yours to carry, another link was forged. Each time you silenced your own voice to please another cord tightened. And so you walked with a heavy heart, calling it kindness, when in truth it was fear's disguise. I did not call you to live in fear. I called you to live in the freedom of my children. For where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, and that freedom begins within you. The subtlest chains are not those placed on you from the outside, but the false beliefs you hold within. You believed that if you stayed silent long enough, things would fix themselves. You believed that if you endured enough pain, they would change. You believed that if you just kept loving, they would finally see your worth. But that was not faith, it was captivity. Faith does not command you to remain in places that drain your soul. Faith teaches you that when you walk away in obedience, I restore everything you leave behind. You were never created to beg for love, but to reflect mine, the love that does not plead, does not enslave, does not depend. Remember Jonah, he thought he could flee from my call, but inside the belly of the fish, he learned that freedom is not doing what you wish, but doing what I will. So it will be with you. You will only be truly free when you stop resisting what I am teaching and allow me to redefine your worth. I know there are those who have taken advantage of your kindness. They saw your forgiveness and tested its limits. They saw your gentleness and used it to keep you bound. But kindness is not weakness, and forgiveness is not permission for continued harm. When I said turn the other cheek, I was not teaching endless suffering. I was teaching you not to let hatred steal your peace. Forgiveness is the act of cutting the cord that ties your soul to those who wounded you, so that you can walk in freedom once more. You cannot fly while still bound by the chains of the past. You cannot sing while your throat is wrapped in the cords of guilt and self-blame. Let go, my chill, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Understand this. In my kingdom, freedom does not come from revenge or demanding justice by your own hand. It comes when you give the right to judge back to me. When you stop striving to justify yourself, I will justify you. When you stop proving your worth, I will reveal it. When you release your pain, I will turn it into testimony. You no longer have to wear the mask of strength, for I have seen your weary nights. I do not need you to pretend to be fine. I need you to be real. Because only when you are real can I be real with you. And when you truly surrender that pain to me, I will break every yoke, the yoke of guilt, shame, fear, loneliness, and the lies the enemy has whispered into your mind. All of it will fall away when you choose to believe my voice over his. You once lived as if on trial, always afraid that one wrong move would make someone leave. But my child, I paid the price so that you would never have to live under that sentence again. The cross was not only where I bore your sins, it was where I broke every chain that made you believe you were unworthy. From the moment my blood touched the ground, you were declared free. Do not let the words of others hold more weight than mine. Do not let the scornful eyes of people make you forget the mercy in my gaze. You do not need their approval to have worth. You only need my affirmation, and I have already given it. You are not a mistake. You are grace walking in human form. You are not a victim. You are a living testimony of restoration. You are no longer imprisoned. You are released. Like Paul and Silas in the dark cell, they did not complain, they sang, and the chains fell. My beloved, when you praise in the night, your chains will fall in the same way. Praise not because you understand everything, but because you trust that I am still working. Worship not because everything is perfect, but because you know I am the one who makes all things work together for good. When your lips sing, the heavens around you tremble. When you give thanks, the prisons of sin and fear open. When you choose to believe in me over your pain, you will see what human eyes have never seen. Freedom is not a feeling. It is a spiritual reality. It is the breath of heaven filling your lungs. So let today be your day of liberation. Let your soul shake off the cords that have bound it for too long. Name them and hand them over to me: the fear of abandonment, the need to prove yourself, the memory of betrayal, the voice of guilt, and the lies you have unknowingly believed. Give them all to me, for you cannot fight while still holding your enemy in your hands. When you surrender these things, I will replace them with peace, not fragile peace, but the kind that surpasses understanding. And from that moment you will walk not as one who merely survived, but as one reborn. My beloved, I want to teach you how to keep this freedom not just for a moment, but in every breath. Freedom is not merely a gift received. It is a way of life sustained. Many are rescued, but few learn to live free. They step out of the prison, yet their minds remain there. They leave unhealthy ties, yet their hearts still long for what once confined them. My child, I do not want you to merely escape, I want you to advance. Not just to release, but to renew. Not merely to forget, but to be transformed. This is true deliverance, where your soul no longer gets pulled backward, but moves forward into the light I have prepared. You must know this spiritual freedom does not come through effort, but through understanding. It is the truth that sets you free. Yet this truth is not mere knowledge, it is revelation, a living awareness of me. The one who loves you knows you and dwells within you. When you know me not through intellect, but through encounter, fear loses its hold. When you truly believe that I am your keeper, you will stop trying to control. When you believe that I am your provider, you will stop clinging to people or circumstances. When you believe that I am your justice, you will cease striving to justify yourself. Freedom begins when you stop doing my work for me. I know you have grown used to carrying everything, to holding relationships together, to bearing responsibility, to keeping peace at any cost. But now, I am calling you into the rest of faith. This rest is not passivity. It is the deep assurance that I am working, even when you cannot see. Just as when Israel stood before the Red Sea and Moses said, "Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." Exodus 1:4-1-3. They did not have to swim, fight, or explain. They simply had to stand still and watch me make a way. So it is with you. True freedom is not the absence of pain, it is the presence of trust. It is standing still in the truth that I am your defender. From now on, learn to recognize the voices that try to pull you back into old chains. They do not come with whips, but with whispers that sound familiar. You're not enough. You're unworthy. You must work harder to be loved. These voices are not mine. My voice always carries peace, even when it corrects. The enemy's voice always carries fear, even when it sounds reasonable. So test every spirit. Ask yourself, does this word make me free or bind me? Does it bring peace or anxiety? Does it draw me to God or away from Him? My child, when you learn to discern in this way, you will no longer be deceived by darkness disguised as light. You will walk with open eyes, a clear heart, and a light spirit. The enemy does not fear the wounded. He fears the healed who have stood back up. He fears those who have learned his tactics, for they are no longer victims, they are warriors. He fears you because you did not just survive, you learned to recognize his footprints from afar. From now on, when he tries to stir up old memories, you will know it is the same lie in a new disguise. When he tries to send another draining relationship, you will sense the exhaustion before it comes and stop it in time. When he whispers that you are alone, you will smile and say, "I am never alone, for God is with me." And when he tells you that you are not enough, you will answer with the truth, "I am made in the image of the Almighty." My child, true freedom is not hiding from the world, but walking through it without being owned by it. As Jesus prayed, "My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one." John 1:7-1-5. You will still face trials. You will still encounter people who resemble those from your past. But the difference now is that you are equipped with discernment, with boundaries, with peace. You will no longer react from fear, but respond with wisdom. You will no longer panic at rejection, but recognize that man's rejection is often my redirection. You will no longer pour yourself out to be loved, but let my love flow through you effortlessly like a spring that does not strain to flow. Do not forget, freedom does not mean isolation. The enemy will try to convince you that separating from what is wrong means you will be left with no one, but my child, loneliness does not kill the soul, compromise does. To settle for darkness just to feel accompanied will slowly erase who you are. It is better to walk alone in light than surrounded by shadows. When I lead you into solitude, it is not abandonment, it is reformation. In stillness, I rewrite your identity. In silence, I heal your voice. In solitude, I teach you to hear mine clearly. And when you have been reshaped, I will send those who belong to you, not to drain you, but to build with you. Freedom requires vigilance. No one can guard your soul better than you can under my guidance. Guard the doorway of your heart. Be wise about who you allow to enter. Not everyone who seeks closeness is sent by me. Some come to learn, some to test, and some to destroy. But if you walk in the light, none can make you fall without my permission. When you live in truth, no lie can shake you. When you cling to me, no hand can pull you away. For I am the foundation on which you stand, not by fear but by conviction, not by effort but by grace. My child, stop trying to do enough. Live, breathe, laugh, and love with a soul washed clean of old burdens. Every day you live in the light is a testimony that darkness no longer has authority over you. Every peaceful breath is proof that I dwell within you. Every act of love declares that you belong to me, not to pain. You no longer need to wear the yoke of your past as proof of maturity. True maturity is this: you can love without being enslaved by fear, trust without needing to control, and give without running dry. And this is precisely what I am shaping within you, my beloved. Now I want you to learn something above all else: how to keep that freedom in peace and in wisdom. For the enemy is not afraid of the newly rescued. He fears the one who knows how to remain in the freedom of God. Deliverance is only the beginning. Endurance in freedom is the true victory. To walk in it, you must learn to set boundaries, to live with discernment, and to walk in love without losing yourself. Remember, every wound that once caused you pain, when placed in my hands, becomes a fence of protection instead of a shackle. In the past, you feared setting limits because you mistook love for accepting everything. You thought that if you said no, others would call you cold. But my child, kindness is not the same as compromise. Jesus, the one full of compassion, also knew when to withdraw from the crowds, when to be silent, and when to sleep in the storm. That was not weakness, but the wisdom of one who knew whose he was and why he had come. You must learn the same: when to speak and when to be still, when to open your heart and when to guard it. Boundaries do not reduce love, they refine it. I see in you a heart that longs to save, to help, to love. That beautiful part was placed in you by me. But remember, not every soul is ready to be rescued, and not everyone you love has the capacity to receive that love. Some come only to drink the light you carry, without ever letting that light confront their darkness. Some will call you blessing while using that very blessing to fill their emptiness. You must learn to see beyond words to the soul behind them. Ask me before you pour out. Let my spirit guide you to know who I send and who the enemy sends. Not every door is opened by me, and not everyone who knocks should be welcomed. The enemy is subtle. He knows you will not be swayed by blatant sin, so he comes clothed as good. He knows you cherish kindness, so he disguises himself in a gentle voice. He knows you carry a healing heart, so he brings those who need to be saved. But if you offer your heart without seeking discernment, you may unwittingly open the door to what will drain you. You are not called to save everyone, but to obey, in saving the right ones at the right time in the way I lead. Do not fear offending, fear losing your peace. Peace is my seal upon all things. To live in true freedom, you must learn the art of inner stillness. In that stillness, you hear me clearly. Silence is not emptiness. It is where I speak. Amid the noise of the world, you need space to distinguish my voice from the voices of men. Each day, let your heart return to quiet like a calm lake reflecting the sky. When your heart is at rest, you will see that I am at work, even when nothing outside seems to move. You will learn that true victory is not striking back, but standing in peace amid the waves. When you are still, the enemy is unsettled. When you keep your peace, he loses his grip. When you walk in my rest, he cannot intrude. Know this, guarding your peace is the highest spiritual strategy. The enemy can manipulate only when you react, but when your heart is quiet, he has nothing to grasp. Peace is not a feeling, it is a weapon. It is trusting me so deeply that you no longer need to understand everything. As Jesus slept in the boat during the storm, he did not deny the wind and waves. He simply refused to let them shake his inner life. My child, that is where I am leading you, not where everything around you must be calm for you to be calm, but where you are calm, because I am within you. Do not forget, deliverance is not an event, but a process. Some chains have fallen off, but certain habits still need replacing. Some doors have closed, but new doors must be guarded. Be patient with yourself. Restoration does not happen overnight. Do not rush to run, for the first step in freedom is the reshaping of the mind. Learn to think as one who is free to speak, as one who is free to love, as one who is free, and to pray as one who is free. As you begin to see yourself through my eyes, whatever shackles remain will fall away on their own. You once gave your heart without discernment, but from now on I will teach you to give intentionally. You will no longer pour out from lack, but from overflow. You will no longer love to be loved back, but love because you are already loved. You will no longer forgive out of fear of losing, but forgive because you have been forgiven. And so your love will become steadfast, unattached, unneedy, unafraid. When you love like this, you mirror my own love. A love not wounded by rejection, not shaken by betrayal, not extinguished by silence. That love does not originate in you, it flows through you, and it is the evidence that you are truly free. You once wept for those who did not know how to cherish you, but now I will give you those who know how to pray with you. You were tied to bonds that dried out your soul, but now I will send those who refresh you. You once sat in conversations that made you doubt yourself, but now I will raise voices that call you back to your calling. When I replace you, you will see the difference. What is from me always imparts life. What is from the darkness always leaves you depleted. Remember this, my chill. Anything that gradually dims your soul, no matter how good it seems, is not from me. I am leading you into a season of sacred discernment. You will watch some from the past depart without explanation, and others arrive quietly full of grace. Do not be confused when this happens. It is the sign that I am rearranging your life. Relationships born of darkness will separate on their own. Relationships born of light will find their way to you. You do not need to control the process. Simply remain in peace, in prayer, and in obedience. When your heart stays pure, all that belongs to you will return, for nothing can steal what I have ordained for you. Write this upon your heart: freedom is not the absence of battle, but my presence within the battle. You will still face trials, but now you carry weapons, peace, discernment, and non-dependent love. With these three, you will no longer stumble easily into the enemy's snares. You will see schemes before they arrive, and you will smile knowing you have been trained to stand. You will no longer fear loss for you. Understand that nothing is truly lost unless I permit it. You will no longer fear being misunderstood, for my voice is louder than every rumor. You will no longer fear loneliness, for you have learned that my presence is fuller than any crowd. The old chains are broken, the new walls are raised. You now stand in the freedom that my Son purchased with his blood. Guard this freedom with gratitude, with prayer, and with unwavering trust. For from here I am leading you into a new season, not just of release, but of rebuilding. In this place, I will restore what was ruined, heal what was shattered, and revive what seemed lost. You will step into a new land of blessing, where every old scar will shine like gold stitches gleaming in the radiance of my glory. My beloved child, now that your soul has been set free and peace has begun to take root within you, I want to open your eyes to see more clearly, to recognize not only what is past, but what is unfolding in the unseen realm around you. For your battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the invisible powers that work in darkness, forces that sow fear, deception, and division into human hearts. There are things you once thought were coincidences, but they were orchestrations. There are people you thought came to help you, but were sent to steal your focus. There are circumstances you believed were simple tests, but were in fact spiritual battlegrounds designed to refine your faith. Now I will unveil these things so you may see. You once asked me, why do I keep attracting people who hurt me? My child, that question was not just a sigh. It was an invitation for me to reveal the truth. The enemy studies the light within you. He knows you carry a rare radiance, the light of compassion, faithfulness, and the longing to heal others. Yet because of that very light, he seeks to distort it. He cannot extinguish your light, so he tempts you to dim it by giving it to the wrong ones. He cannot steal your blessing, so he tries to make you waste it on relationships built on disguise. He knows that if he can drain you, he can silence you. If he can make you doubt yourself, he can weaken your authority. If he can distract you, he can distance you from my voice. That is why some people in certain seasons appeared so perfect. They came with gentle smiles, moral-sounding words, and carefully crafted empathy. They seem to understand you, to share your wavelength, to say all the things you once asked me for. But my child, remember, resemblance to truth is not the same as truth. Just as in Eden the serpent did not come roaring but whispering, he did not outright deny my word, he twisted it slightly to plant doubt. He did not say God is wrong, but did God really say? Likewise, those whom the enemy sends into your life do not deny the light, they distort it to serve the darkness. They make you believe that compromise is compassion, that silence in the face of wrong is humility, that losing yourself completely is righteousness. But I tell you, that is not love, that is self-destruction. I do not say this to make you suspicious of everyone, but to teach you to see with the eyes of the Spirit rather than the emotions. Emotions can be deceived. The Holy Spirit cannot. When you allow me to lead, you will notice the subtle signs. Most overlook the unease that stirs when lies are spoken, though the words sound right. The fatigue that follows every encounter, even when nothing seems wrong. The shrinking of your spirit when they enter the room, while with those who are mine, you always feel peace and expansion. Those are the gentle warnings of my Spirit. Do not dismiss them. Do not argue with your heart when it grows heavy, for I am speaking not through your ears, but through the deep stirrings of your soul. As you step into this new phase with me, the enemy will also change his strategy. He knows you have learned his old tricks, so he will send what looks almost right. He knows you are no longer swayed by blatant sin, so he will use harmless distractions. He will send people who occupy your thoughts until your prayers grow quiet. He will send opportunities that appear to be blessings but draw you off my path. He will offer you what is good just so you miss what is best. That is why I say, do not trust what excites you. Trust what brings you peace. Peace is the compass of the Spirit. Anything that requires you to sacrifice peace to obtain it is not from me. The revelation I give you is not to make you fearful of darkness, but to awaken you. You need not fear the shadows when you know the light dwells within you. Spiritual discernment does not make you withdraw from the world. It allows you to walk through it with open eyes, like Jesus, who saw the hearts of men yet loved them. He knew Judas would betray him, yet he still washed his feet. Not because he was naive, but because he was free. So too, when you discern rightly, you will love without being controlled, give without being drained, and forgive without being bound. That is the power of divine clarity, to love without losing freedom. Be cautious, my child, of what sounds holy but lacks the breath of my Spirit. The enemy can quote scripture, but he cannot reproduce my presence. You will know me not only by words, but by atmosphere, the atmosphere of peace, of gentleness, of humility. Where I dwell, there is no haste, no pride, no pressure to prove yourself. Where I am absent, you will sense confusion, fear, and the restless need to perform to be worthy. That is your sign to know where you stand and who is leading you. My spirit is always gentle yet unshakably strong, patient yet never compromising. When you abide in him, you will discern truth without debate and recognize falsehood without condemnation. My beloved child, remember, exposure is not only outward, it is also inward. There are places within you that I must bring into the light, not to shame you, but to heal you. There are rooms in your heart, long locked away places, I have not yet been allowed to touch because you feared what would surface. Let my light enter there. Let me reveal what you have not dared to see, for only when truth is brought into sight can it be set free. When I expose something within you, it is not to condemn but to restore. You cannot conquer what you refuse to face. Yet when you face it with me beside you, I will transform it by the power of mercy. The night has passed, but the light must be kept. Discernment is the lamp I have placed within you, and each day you must refill its oil through prayer and my word. Do not let that lamp go out, for darkness will always seek to return. But do not be afraid, keep your eyes on me, and the light will never fade. As Psalm 119:105 says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. When you treasure my words in your heart, your steps will not stumble. When you listen to my spirit, deception will lose its power, for you carry within you the light of the one who cannot be deceived. This is the beginning of true spiritual wisdom, where you no longer live by emotion but by revelation. From here on, your vision will change. What once caused pain will now teach you. What once stirred fear will become an opportunity to display faith. What once brought doubt will remind you of my faithfulness. You will no longer react to darkness, you will illuminate it. You will no longer evade the enemy's traps, you will rise above them. You will no longer tremble at misunderstanding, for you know my truth always prevails in heaven's own way. And when that happens, the world will see the light in you does not come from you but from me, the one who called you out of darkness into the mystery of eternal glory. My beloved, now that your spiritual eyes are open, I must teach you something deeper: how to stand and keep your heart pure in a world thick with temptation and disguise. Light shines only when it remains untainted, and the heart hears me clearly only when it is free from echoes of fear, doubt, or pride. This is the season where I teach you to stand in the middle of battle without losing peace, to fight without being pulled into hatred's storm. Understand, discernment is not just recognizing evil, it is discerning good that did not come from me. Some things appear as blessings but are traps wrapped in velvet. Some words sound tender, but carry the seed of confusion. Some people wear humility, yet their spirits are not mine, for they seek approval, not truth. Remember, my child, everything that comes from me carries peace, and everything from darkness steals it. Peace is the sacred seal. Where it is absent, I am not there. You have often wondered why I tell you, be silent, be still instead of respond, because true battle is not fought with the mouth but in the spirit. Reaction feeds anger, silence in peace displays power. When you choose not to retaliate, you are not weak, you are yielding the field to me. When you keep quiet yet stay pure in heart, I speak for you. As Micah 7:7 says, but as for me, I watch and hope for the Lord. I wait for God, my Savior. My God will hear me. My child, I always hear the whisper in your soul, even when your lips cannot form words, and I act in silence in ways no one expects. Be alert, for the enemy does not only use others to attack you, he also tries to manipulate your emotions. If he can exhaust you, he can make you question my voice. If he can confuse you, he will drive you to reason instead of faith. If he can provoke your anger, he will rob your peace. He does not need you to sin openly, he only needs you distracted. A divided mind cannot hear me clearly. A worried soul cannot discern. Therefore guard your mind as your treasure. Fill it with my word, for my word is the sword of the Spirit, the only weapon sharp enough to cut through deception. When darkness knocks on your thoughts with questions like, is God really listening? Are you truly loved? Are you enough to be chosen? Answer with truth. Say, I know whom I have believed. I know he is faithful. I know he chose me before the foundation of the world. Each declaration of truth is a victory. Each moment you choose faith over fear, you reclaim territory within your soul. Each prayer uttered in the desert makes the darkness tremble. The enemy fears not those who shout loud, but those who still believe in silence. Do not think discernment exists only to identify the enemy. It is also the art of keeping the heart pure. You cannot hear my voice while bitterness fills your spirit. You cannot walk in power while resentment rules your heart. Forgiveness is not a gift to others. It is the door to your freedom. When you forgive, you are not excusing their wrong. You are refusing to let darkness control your emotions. Forgiveness does not erase memory. It turns the wound into a mark that no longer hurts. And then I can pour out the blessings you once forfeited by clinging to pain. This is where strength becomes gentleness and truth becomes healing. You will learn to stand not in defense, but in light, to wage war, not by might, but by peace, not by words, but by faith. For when you live in this place, nothing the enemy sends can touch you, and every shadow that once haunted you will bow before the brilliance of the light within you. My beloved child, let me make this clear. The purity of your heart is the foundation of discernment. A pure heart not only sees rightly, it loves rightly. When you can keep your heart tender in a hardened world, you are walking in heaven's power. The world says strength is feeling nothing, but I say true strength is to feel deeply, yet not be ruled by feelings. The world teaches that wisdom is suspicion, but I say wisdom is the courage to trust the right ones. The world calls forgiveness weakness, but I say forgiveness is victory. So let your heart remain soft before me, but firm before deceit. Gentle toward people, yet steadfast for truth. Those old wounds that once made you ache are now becoming new eyes that see truth. In the very places you were deceived, you now perceive more clearly. In the very places you were wounded, you now discern more sharply. In the very place you fell, you now stand as a warrior of light. I did not allow betrayal to destroy you. I used it to forge you. I did not let pain make you bitter. I shaped it to make you wise. And now you are not only one who has been rescued, you are one who is sent not to retaliate, but to illuminate. As your light begins to shine more strongly, the enemy will test you again. He will not come through obvious evil, but through subtle disguises of harmlessness. He will send those who seem gentle, moments that appear trivial, and words that sound casual, yet shift your focus. Do not underestimate small things, for in the spiritual realm every crack is a doorway. Do not let carelessness open a gate for darkness to return. Guard your heart with alertness, not through fear but through wisdom. When something feels strange, ask me. When you meet someone new, listen to the atmosphere in your spirit. When an opportunity looks right, test it against your peace. If it disturbs that peace, stop. Do not fear missing chances, for what comes from me will never demand your turmoil. My child, I have given you spiritual authority not to control others, but to govern the atmosphere around you. When you enter a room, carry peace with you. When you speak, let grace drip from your lips. When you pray, let heaven move. True power is not in loudness, but in belonging. When you say to the enemy, "Step back, for I belong to the Lord," all of hell must retreat. When you declare, "I choose light," darkness loses its ground. When you choose forgiveness, chains break. When you choose peace, schemes crumble. When you choose love, my power is revealed. Stand firm in discernment, for it is the weapon of the beloved. When you know what is true, you will not fear the false. When you know my voice, no other sound will confuse you. When you know who you are in me, no one can shake your worth. And when you know my love, you will never again chase counterfeit affections to fill your emptiness. You will love without dependency, live without fear, and fight without losing peace. My beloved, this is the summit of discernment, to recognize truth, to keep your heart pure, and to walk in the authority of light. For when you live this way, darkness cannot approach. When you love without fear, the enemy finds no doorway. When you choose peace in the storm, you testify to the world of my power. When you have learned to see through the fog of this world and recognize truth among 1,000 imitations, I will lead you into a new stage, the season of revealed light. For discernment was never meant only to keep you safe, but to make you a lantern for others. A light kept hidden serves only itself. A light lifted high illuminates the city. You are not called to hide forever in safety, but to carry my light into the places still blind. Yet to do that, you must learn to walk in light without being blinded by it, to shine without burning yourself out. True light is not mere knowledge, it is presence. When I dwell within you, you do not need to strive to shine, you simply are. Light will flow naturally through your words, your gestures, the way you treat others. You will not need to persuade with arguments, for the peace in you will speak louder than words. When you enter a room, the atmosphere will change, not because of who you are, but because of who is in you. You do not need to argue with darkness, just stand still in light. Darkness does not need to be fought, it only needs to be revealed. The sun does not war with the night, it simply rises and night dissolves. Likewise, when you stand in truth, you need not fight lies. Just remain steadfast and truth will defend itself. My child, I have placed in you a light powerful enough to set captives free, but that light must be guarded. The enemy knows he cannot extinguish my light in you, so he will try to dull it. He will use exhaustion, distraction, or meaningless conversation to drain your spirit. He will whisper that your light is not enough, that your voice carries no weight, that no one needs what you've been called to bring. He will plant thoughts that you are not ready, not holy enough, that you should wait a little longer, but hear me now, your time is now. The lamp you carry was not lit to be hidden, it was set on a stand to shine for those still wandering in the dark. Remember, walking in light does not mean you will never face darkness. In truth, the brighter the light, the deeper the shadow. The more I use you, the greater the opposition. But do not fear, for it is in the dim places that your light reveals its true strength. I have not called you to safe ground to sleep. I have sent you into shadow so that you might shine. Like Moses descending from the mountain, his face radiant with glory, so too will you carry a brilliance you yourself may not perceive. That glow does not come from effort, but from abiding. The nearer you stay to me, the brighter you become. The more you separate yourself from corruption, the purer your flame will burn. Do not mistake light for display. True light does not seek attention, it brings life. It does not crave recognition, for it knows its source. Be wary of the desire to be seen, for the enemy will exploit it to lead you into false illumination where people worship their own glow instead of mine. Let me teach you to walk quietly, yet powerfully. Holiness does not need advertisement. It reveals itself in presence. Power does not shout. It manifests in fruit. When you learn to do what is right in silence, heaven resounds. When you are faithful in little, I can entrust you with much. My child, I am calling you to be a keeper of light, not only for yourself, but for those I will send to you. There will be weary souls seeking refuge in your presence. They will not come with eloquent words, but with tired eyes and wounded hearts. Do not fear to welcome them, but do not try to save them either. Show them the true source of light, me. Pray with them, not for them alone. Lead them to the spring. Do not keep carrying water for them. For your calling is not to be the God of another soul, but the mirror reflecting my kindness. You are not sent to replace me, but to reveal me. My beloved child, when you shine for others, never forget to return to the source of light. A flame only burns continuously when it is fueled. Come back to my presence each day through my word, through prayer, through stillness. Do not wear yourself out trying to illuminate the world while neglecting to sit at my feet. Even my son, Jesus, often withdrew to solitary places to pray. If he, the perfect one, needed time alone with the Father, how much more do you? See silence as your recharge, my word, as the oil for your lamp, and prayer as your breath. When you keep this rhythm, your light will never fade, no matter how strong the wind may blow. Remember, my child, light is not meant to expose others' weakness, but to guide them toward me. Be careful not to turn illumination into judgment. When I show you what is wrong, it is not for accusation, but for intercession. When I reveal deception, it is not so you may boast of discernment, but so you may kneel and pray for truth to be revealed. True light always travels with mercy. Light without love becomes fire that burns instead of warms. So remember, I did not call you to be a judge, but a bearer of hope. True discernment is always married to kindness. You cannot heal anyone through contempt, only through love. When you love in truth, you reflect my own nature. When you speak what is right, with humility I stand beside you. When you stay silent to intercede instead of criticize, I act on your behalf. That is the wisdom of those who have matured in light. As Jesus hanging on the cross prayed, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That is the height of discernment, to see what is wrong and yet refuse to let hatred win, to perceive darkness and still choose love. You have come through a long journey from bondage to freedom, from deception to revelation, from wounding to empowerment. Now I want you to begin walking as a carrier of my light. Let every step sow hope, every word releases peace, and every action bears witness. You do not need perfection to be used. You need faithfulness. My child, I will use your wounds to heal others. I will turn your tears into oil for the weary. I will transform what you learned in the dark into a lantern for the lost. Through you, the world will know that true light still lives. When you hold discernment and kindness together, you will not only survive, you will shine. Darkness will no longer threaten you. It will reveal your brightness. I have exposed, I have taught, and now I send you. Go, but not alone. For I go before you, I walk beside you, and I dwell within you. Let the world see that light never loses to darkness, and that true love is never defeated. My beloved, now begins the deepest work, the work of rebuilding. For I did not rescue you merely from ruin. I came to rebuild. I did not save you to survive. I came to make you whole. Deliverance without restoration is only halfway. Restoration is where I craft from ashes something more radiant than before. As it is written in Isaiah 6:1-3, to bestow on those who mourn in Zion a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. This is what I am doing for you, trading ashes for glory, brokenness for vitality, wounds for witness. There are places, once desolate memories, that once scarred dreams, once buried. These are the places I am walking through now. Not to shame, but to rebuild. Not to reopen pain, but to pour grace. You will see that I do not rebuild on old foundations. I dig deeper and lay new ones, the foundation of faith, of truth, of trust, that even when you do not understand, I am still at work. What once caused your collapse was never the storm itself, but the weak foundation beneath. Now I lay a firm one, not upon emotion, but upon conviction that my love never changes. The world covers wounds. I touch them. The world says, forget it. I say, remember it without pain. The world teaches you to flee darkness. I teach you to walk through it to find light. for only when you face it can I transform its meaning. Every failure you thought final will become testimony. Every loss you mourn will become a lesson in gratitude. Every place you fell will become an altar of victory. I do not erase your past, I redeem it. I do not demand you forget, I turn remembrance into blessing. To be restored, my chill, you must let me work in stillness. My greatest creations are born quietly. Consider how I formed the world I spoke, and in silence, all things took shape. No applause, no spotlight, only steady power. Likewise, in this season, I will rebuild you quietly. You may not feel exhilarated, but you will feel peace. You may not see grand motion, but subtle, steady change. You will notice your heart growing lighter. The place that once ached will grow calm. The desert of your soul will begin to sprout green shoots of hope. You will realize I have been working not through thunder, but through the gentle wind of my spirit. I know there are parts of you so fractured you thought they could never heal. You have hidden them from everyone, even from me, as if I did not see. But I have seen them all, every crack, every fragment, every silent cry. And now I do not only wish to heal them, I want to dwell there. For I do not live in perfection, I live in truth. When you dare to expose your weakness, I pour in strength. When you offer me your fear, I fill it with courage. When you hand me what has died, I breathe life into it. Nothing in you is wasted, even your brokenness will serve a greater purpose. You once thought restoration meant becoming who you were before, but I tell you, true restoration means becoming new. Just as refined gold can never return to its raw form, so your soul, once purified by fire, can never return to what it was. You have gained wisdom, endurance, and humility that once you lacked. You no longer chase love in wrong places, nor crave approval to feel worthy. Now you stand on a foundation deeper, stronger, truer, and on this foundation I will build like a craftsman, laying stones with patience and care. Every time you trust, I set another stone. Every time you forgive, I raise another wall. Every time you choose peace over fear, I place another beam of shelter, until at last your soul becomes a temple of peace. My beloved child, in the rebuilding there will be days when you feel empty. You will ask, why didn't I feel like this before? Do not worry, this is the sign that you are being reshaped. Old feelings must dissolve to make room for what is new. As a potter crushes the old clay to knead it again, so I am working with your soul. You are not losing feeling. Your feelings are being renewed, not the emotions of fear but of peace, not tangled longing but gratitude, not frailty but gentle strength. Let me complete this work for you. Do not rush. Do not fear that you are falling behind, for I do not measure speed, I measure depth. When my restoring work is complete, you will look back and understand that every loss had meaning. You will no longer ask why, but will say thank you. You will stop trying to grasp my plan and begin to rest inside it. You will no longer pray for me to fix everyone else, but to perfect you. You will no longer see your wounds as scars, but as honor, because those are the places I have touched. And when others look at you, they will see not merely one who was hurt, but a work shining with glory. My child, this rebuilding is not only for you, but also through you. I never restore a soul so it can live only for itself. You will become a new river, flowing from what once was desert. You will become a shelter for wandering hearts. You will be the proof that my hand is still at work, that nothing is too ruined for me to restore. When you speak, the hopeless will find hope. When you pray, the weary will feel strength. When you smile, the world will know that I still live within human hearts. I am making your soul a temple of my presence. Every crack will reflect my light. Every empty space will be filled with the oil of grace. Every shadowed corner will become a place where I set a lamp. You will no longer run from your past. You will use it to light the future. You will no longer be the wounded. You will be the grateful. You will no longer merely seek the miracle. You yourself will become a miracle. the proof that I still trade ashes for crowns, tears for songs, and what seemed forever lost for vibrant life. Now that the foundation within your soul has been reset, it is time for me to build what endures, a faith unshaken by circumstance, a vision that reaches beyond what eyes can see. In this season of restoration, I am not merely returning what was lost. I am widening your sight to behold what has never been. What I am giving does not fit an old frame, it belongs to a higher plane, where you live, not by feeling but by revelation, not led by fear but by conviction, not asking why but saying yes. I am leading you into a faith that does not depend on results. Before you believed when you saw me act, now I teach you to believe before you see. Before you were at peace when things went your way, now you will rest even when nothing is in your control. For true faith does not require evidence, it is the evidence. Faith does not need light, for it is light in the night. When you learn to trust like this, you will no longer be tossed by waves of emotion, you will stand like bedrock in the sea of life. This is the faith that moved Abraham to trust the promise, despite age, that lifted Moses' staff over a sea still rising, that kept Daniel's eyes open among lions without fear. And this is the faith I desire to teach you, the faith that knows I am working even when you cannot see me move. In restoring your soul, I do more than raise fallen walls. I expand the borders. Once you saw life through the narrow frame of your own experience. Now I open your eyes to the canvas of eternity. What you once called failure, you will see as brushstrokes in my larger design. What you labeled detours were the very roads that led you where you needed to be. Everything I allow carries purpose. Not one of your tears is wasted, not one wound is meaningless, not one barren season fails to bear fruit. Restoration is not only mending the past, it is unfolding the future, so you grasp that all I have permitted is weaving toward coming glory. I am not only doing something for you, I am doing something for you. I am not only changing circumstances, I am transforming the person within. For sometimes to give you something great, I must make you great enough to hold it. If I pour blessing into a vessel too small, it spills and is lost. So I am enlarging your soul. Each time you are patient, you are enlarged. Each time you believe without seeing, you are enlarged. Each time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you are enlarged. And one day you will realize you are no longer small. Your soul has grown wide enough for the new outpouring and steady enough to carry it. To step into the new you must dare to leave the old mold. Many want to see me do a new thing, yet refuse to leave their safe ground. They desire miracles while clinging to old habits, old thoughts, old ways of believing. But I say to you, no one patches an old garment with a new cloth. No one pours new wine into old wineskins. Matthew 9:16-17. Likewise, you cannot carry a new vision with an old mind. You cannot enter a new promise with a soul still dusted by the past. Let me renew your mind, for if you continue to think small, you will live small even with a crown upon your head. The faith I give is not impulsive, it is steady obedience. It does not need feelings to endure, nor the approval of others to stand. It does not swell with praise or collapse under criticism. This faith does not lean on favorable conditions, but on the knowledge of who I am. You will cease asking me to change the wind, for you will have learned to set your sail. You will stop begging me to still the storm, for you will know I am with you in it. Such faith keeps you calm in chaos, strong in weakness, and at rest before the outcome. This is the faith heaven celebrates, the faith that needs no proof to know that I am good. Beloved, on this road of restoration you will experience my silence. Do not fear it. It is not absence, it is invitation. When I am silent, I am teaching you to listen. When I do not speak, I am teaching you to trust. You have learned to hear me in the wind. Now learn to know me in the stillness. As Elijah discovered on the mountain, I was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper. I do not always arrive with spectacle. I come as a breath. Only those who quiet their hearts recognize me there. So do not fear the quiet it holds me, and within it, I am writing your next chapter. As I restore your faith, I restore your capacity to dream. The past made you afraid to hope, to trust, to believe in good. But I say, dream again. Do not fear disappointment this time. I walk with you at every step. Do not fear mistakes. My grace is enough to realign your path. Do not fear beginnings, for every beginning in me is wrapped in faithfulness. Child, the dreams you buried beneath the ashes of fear are stirring to life. I am breathing new breath into them, and they will sprout in the springtime of the Spirit. You do not need to force, only to believe. As Abraham went out, not knowing where he was going, but trusting the one who called, so you too must walk, step by step, breath by breath, prayer by prayer, and I will lead you to the land I have promised. My beloved child, you will no longer see others through the lens of pain, but through compassion. You will no longer see life through fear, but through hope. You will no longer see yourself as a survivor, but as one who has been sent. You will begin to speak differently, think differently, love differently, and others will notice something has changed in you. But you will know it is not something, it is someone. It is I, the one who restored you, who recreated you, who placed within you a new heart. You will become living proof that faith can rise again from ashes. And when you speak of what I have done, you will no longer tell a story of pain, but a story of resurrection. Your faith is being rebuilt with different materials, not with fragile emotion, but with the understanding that I do not change. I am the one who was there on the night you wept, the one who held you when you wanted to let go, and the one who now causes you to stand stronger than before. Restoration is not merely the result of faith, it is the reward of endurance. You did not give up even when your soul was torn apart, and that, my child, made heaven rejoice. For true faith is not the absence of doubt, it is holding my hand in the middle of doubt. And this, yes, this is why I have chosen you to display my glory in this new season. My child, I will now speak to you of what comes next, the season of glory, when I will lead you out of the remnants of the past into the mission for which you were born. Everything I have done in you, healing, refining, rebuilding, has been leading to this moment when you are no longer merely saved but sent. I did not rebuild you to sit in safety. I rebuilt you to carry my glory into desolate places. And in this season you will discover that what you thought was an ending was actually a beginning hidden in the dark. Understand, every event I allowed in your life carried divine purpose. It trained you for the mission I prepared before your birth. Betrayal taught you discernment. Loss taught you to cling to what is true. Loneliness taught you to find my presence in the quiet. Every tear became a seed planted in the garden of grace, and now the harvest is here. You have passed through the night, but it was not wasted, for only in darkness can you truly appreciate the dawn. I let you endure not to torment you, but to prepare you. No one can carry light without first knowing the weight of darkness. No one can heal unless they have known brokenness. No one can steward blessing without having tasted the fire of refinement. In this new season I will open doors the enemy thought sealed forever. I will lead you into places you never imagined, not to exalt you, but that my name may be exalted through you. I will position you among the thirsty that you may pour out living water. I will send you into barren ground that you might bring the fragrance of life. I will place you among the lost that you might become a guiding lamp. But my child, never forget, glory comes with weight. The brighter the light, the more darkness notices. The greater the blessing, the deeper the test. This is not punishment, it is divine balance. For every step you take into greater favor, I enlarge your heart to bear its weight. Prepare your spirit for transition. You will sense everything, shifting relationships, assignments, even the way you pray. Do not be alarmed. This is the sign that you are moving from the old place to the appointed place. I am shifting you from student to teacher, from the upheld to the upholder. But before I reveal this work in public, I will complete it in a secret place. Do not rush to see results, for maturity always follows sowing. Like a seed beneath the soil, you cannot see its growth, but I know every millimeter of its roots. When the time is right, I will cause the sprout to break forth, and nothing can stop it. In this season of glory, I will not only bless your hands, I will renew your mind, so that you may steward the blessing well. For blessing is not only a gift, it is a trust. If your hands hold blessings, but your mind still holds fear, that blessing becomes a burden. But when your mind is renewed, blessing becomes a river, not a reservoir. You will not hoard to prove yourself, you will share to multiply. You will not boast, but give thanks. You will not cling to blessing as one afraid to lose, but live as one who knows their source never runs dry. And as you pour out, I will pour in. As you release, I will increase. For I cannot fill what is closed. Your heart must remain open both to receive and to overflow. Prepare for the new wind of my spirit. It will blow through places you thought were dead, breathe into plans you thought were gone, and sweep away what no longer belongs to you. You will feel the atmosphere shift, gentle yet powerful, still yet mighty. It is the sign that I am rearranging things around you to align with what I have planted within you. Some people will leave not because they are evil, but because their season in your story is complete. Others will come not to replace what is left, but to walk with you into what's next. Welcome these changes not with fear, but with gratitude. For every divine shift is the motion of grace. I will teach you the language of glory, thanksgiving, not the gratitude that waits for comfort, but the kind that worships even in mystery. For thanksgiving unlocks the doors of miracles. When you thank me in hardship, you declare that your trust in me is greater than your fear of loss. When you thank me amid sorrow, you proclaim that I am still enough. When you thank me while waiting, you plant faith for the harvest to come, and I will never let a grateful heart go unanswered. Psalm 126:5 says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy." My child, you have sown enough tears. Now prepare to hear the songs of your spiritual harvest. In this season of glory, learn to walk slowly yet surely. For I do not measure speed, I measure depth. I do not watch outward success, I weigh the endurance of faith within. Do not chase the noise of the world, follow the rhythm of heaven. Do not seek applause, seek the companionship of my spirit. Do not fear the doors ahead, tend to the step you stand on. When you obey in the small, I will open the great. When you stay faithful in the hidden, I will trust you with the visible. And when you choose authenticity in a world of illusion, I will use your sincerity to awaken hearts around you. My beloved child, your new season will not be one of stillness, but of overflowing life. You will begin to find meaning in the smallest of things. You will feel my presence woven through ordinary moments. You will realize that miracles are not always seas parting, but peace blooming in the very place chaos once lived. I will not always let you see, but I will always let you feel. As you walk, you will understand that it is not you carrying me, it is I carrying you. You no longer need to strive to hold on to me, for I am the one holding on to you. And when this truth settles deep within, you will cease fearing loss, cease fearing failure, cease fearing tomorrow. For my child, you are resting in the hands that never let go. This is the closing of one chapter and the opening of the next. You have been healed, taught, and restored. Now you will be sent, no longer as one wounded, but as one empowered by life itself. You will no longer speak with the voice of a victim, but with the voice of a witness. You will no longer plead for miracles, for your very life will become one. And when others look at you, they will no longer see traces of ruin, but the radiance of the one who rebuilt you. My child, rise not as one who barely survived the night, but as one who has awakened into the dawn of grace. For I, the Lord your God, have done a new thing within you, and it shall never be taken away. Beloved, when your soul stands strong in the light of restoration, I will teach you the greatest truth, the foundation of all life itself, true love. Not the love the world sings about or writes of, but the love that flows from me, for I am its origin. For if you do not learn to love rightly, you will again give yourself to what is wrong. If you do not learn to love as I love, you will repeat the cycles of pain I have already freed you from. What I teach you now is not how to love in order to be loved back, but how to love as a reflection of me. Love that does not demand, does not possess, does not fear, and does not blind. True love does not begin with people, it begins in heaven. The world defines love by emotion. I define it by essence. For I do not have love, I am love. And when you dwell in me, your love ceases to be a fleeting feeling and becomes an eternal current. Feelings change, but my nature does not. That is why true love never withers, because it does not flow from human emotion, but from the endless source of the Creator Himself. When you love as I love, rejection will no longer wound you, for you will understand that love is not meant to possess, but to set free. You will no longer fear being left behind, for true love cannot be taken away, it only multiplies. You once loved from a wounded soul, loved like the thirsty searching for water, yet drinking from a bitter well. You once mistook pity for love, the hunger for approval for spiritual connection. You once thought true love meant giving everything, even your peace. But I say to you, true love does not drain you, it fills you. It does not erase who you are, it helps you rediscover who you are. It does not ask you to forget yourself, it invites you to love yourself as I love you, so that from that wholeness you can love others freely, not in bondage. My love is not fragile, it is fierce. It does not cloud the mind, it illuminates it. It does not indulge what is wrong, it lifts you into what is right. When I love, I do not only embrace, I refine. When I love, I do not only comfort, I purify. When I love, I do not only shield, I send you forth to become more like me. For true love does not lull the soul to sleep, it awakens it. It does not merely soothe the weak part of you, it calls forth the strong. That is why I cannot let you remain in counterfeit attachments, for true love never binds, it sets free. Look to my Son Jesus, who loved to the end. He did not love because humanity deserved it. He loved because love was his nature. He did not wait to be loved first. He loved first, not in words but in action, by giving his very life. That is true love, willing to lose so that another might live, yet never lowering itself to accommodate what is false. When he forgave those who nailed him to the cross, it was not weakness, it was power. When he stayed silent before accusation, it was not defeat, it was the triumph of mercy. True love does not win by argument, it wins by grace. The world will tell you that love exists to make you happy, but I tell you love exists to make you whole. For no one can truly love and remain unchanged. Each time you love as I love you, allow me to grow within you. The more you love rightly, the more you resemble me. The more you resemble me, the freer you become. For true love does not make you weak, it makes you steadfast. It does not confuse your vision, it clarifies it. It does not enslave, it anchors. When you love as I love you, will understand love is not a feeling you fall into. It is a choice you stand in. My beloved child, you once asked me, how can I know the difference between true love and false affection? My answer, child, lies in the fruit it bears. Everything that comes from me produces peace, joy, kindness, patience, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. But what is born of the world, though sweet at first, will always leave behind unrest, doubt, and pain. True love does not cause you to lose yourself, it deepens you. It does not make you dependent on others to feel worthy. It awakens your worth in me. True love does not demand to be proven with noise or display. It is revealed through the quiet strength of faithfulness. In this new season, I will teach you to love with maturity. You will no longer love to be loved back, but to reveal me. You will no longer fill emptiness, but because you are overflowing. You will no longer bow before those who cannot see your worth, but lift your head knowing you were chosen by me. Your love will no longer be fragile, shifting with the tide of emotion. It will become a steady current drawn from the river of eternal life within me. When you love in this way, you will no longer be wounded as before, for you will not love to receive but to give, and in giving you will dwell in a peace the world cannot take away. True love does not erase boundaries, it defines them. Boundaries make love safe, enduring, and holy. Love does not need to grasp, for it knows how to wait. It is not hurried, for it trusts my timing. It does not doubt, for it is founded on truth. Let your love be guided by the wisdom of the Spirit, not by the ache of loneliness. For I did not design you to love in search of another half, but to reflect the whole, to reflect me. When you understand that you are complete in me, you will no longer seek someone to make you enough. And when you stop searching for the one who completes you, I will send the one who complements you, the one whose love will not be your crutch but your harmony. The love I am preparing for you will not come with drama but with peace. It will not strike like lightning but rise like dawn. It will not confuse you but clarify you. It will not weary you but revive you. It will not take but add. It will not make you fall but lift you higher. And when that person comes, you will not need to guess, for your soul will know not through excitement but through peace. And in that moment, you will understand, true love does not come to complete you, but to complete my purpose through you. This is true love, pure, unbinding, never at odds with holiness. It does not fight against my will, it flows with it. It does not draw you away from me, it brings you closer. So let me teach you to love as I do, to love with kindness, with clarity, without fear, and without losing yourself. When you learn to love this way, you will never love wrongly again. My beloved one, now that you are beginning to grasp the foundation of true love, I will open a deeper gate of understanding to help you discern between the love of the world and the love sanctified by heaven. Many speak of love, yet few comprehend its essence. The world uses one word for fleeting feelings and for eternal sacrifice. They use the same tongue to describe both passion and selflessness. But I say to you, true love is not a mixture of light and darkness. It is pure light from me, the source of all life. The world's love is born of emptiness. Mine is born of fullness. The world loves to fill a void. I love to overflow. The world loves out of fear of loneliness. I love because I am existence itself. The world loves to receive. I love because giving is my nature. Therefore, one who is not yet made whole in me will always love conditionally. If you love me, I will love you. But true love requires no condition. It is free, yet not without order. It knows when to stay and when to leave, when to speak and when to remain silent. It is not ruled by fear nor swayed by emotion. True love stands firm because its foundation is truth. The world loves with its eyes. I teach you to love with your soul. The world loves what pleases. I teach you to love what pleases me. The world loves what appears desirable. I teach you to love what holds eternal worth. That is why worldly love changes with circumstance. When convenient, they call it destiny. When difficult, they call it mistake. But true love does not change with the seasons. It is like a tree planted by streams of water, ever green because its roots go deep into me. When you learn to love in this way, you will not be governed by another's response. You will love not because they are lovable, but because I loved you first. The love of the world begins with attraction but ends in exhaustion. My love begins with understanding and ends in oneness. True love does not diminish you, it expands you. It does not erase boundaries, it sanctifies them. It does not demand you sacrifice what is right, it teaches you to love within the frame of truth. You can forgive but not return to what is wrong. You can show mercy but not enable sin. You can be gentle yet remain firm in righteousness. That is my love, tender yet strong, soft yet unshakable. My beloved child, to give your heart where it is not received is to lose something sacred. When you entrust your soul to one who will not guard it, you grant them the right to shape what only belongs to me. That is why I teach you to love while keeping the deepest part of yourself for me alone. This is not withholding, it is consecrating. It is not born of fear but of reverence. As the pearl is hidden in the depths of the sea, love too must dwell where careless hands cannot reach. True love does not parade itself. It abides quietly protected by wisdom and grace. The world says love is a feeling, but I say love is a covenant. Feelings change, but a covenant stands firm. When I loved humanity, I sealed that love in blood, the blood of my Son, a promise that can never be broken. My love does not merely speak, it acts. It does not simply vow, it endures unto death. The world's love is full of empty promises, words without weight. But true love does not need to boast. It proves itself through steadfastness. It does not decorate itself in grand gestures, but works faithfully in silence. It does not seek recognition, it seeks truth. When you meet true love, you will not feel turmoil, you will feel peace. For peace is the language of heaven, and deceit cannot speak it. Do not fear when I teach you to love through letting go. Sometimes love means releasing. I have loved humanity, yet I have also given them freedom. True love does not imprison, it allows choice. For without freedom, love becomes control. If you hold someone through fear, that is not love, it is possession. If you maintain a bond through guilt, that is not love, it is bondage. But when you release with peace, you declare, Lord, I trust you enough to surrender what I love most. And in that surrender, you discover the purity of love unbound. Understand, true love never wars against righteousness. It does not call darkness light or ignore what is wrong. It does not say, I love you, while allowing the soul to perish. Love must be joined to truth. For love without truth is weak, and truth without love is cruel. When you love as I do, you will know when to hold and when to release. You will know when to speak gently and when to speak firmly. You will understand that sometimes the truest love says, I will pray for you, instead of, I will stay though you refuse to change. Mark this, my child. The love of the world is self-centered emotion. The love of heaven is self-giving devotion. The world says, I love you because you make me happy. I say I love because I am joy itself. The world says, I love it if you make me feel good. I say I love even when nailed to a cross. My love is not a reaction, it is a decision. Therefore, when you learn to love as I do, disappointment will no longer rule you. You will no longer despair when others fail to respond. You will know that love means giving your best not for praise but to reveal me. Sanctified love has a distinct sound, the sound of peace and steadfastness. It is not loud, not hurried, not anxious. When true love is present, you will find yourself gentler, wiser, humbler, and nearer to me. But when counterfeit love comes, your heart will feel heavy, restless, and far from me. That is the simplest test. If a relationship pulls you away from me, it is not true love. If it makes you doubt your worth, it is not true love. If it demands you shrink so another may feel greater, it is not true love. Real love lifts both souls closer to heaven. I am leading you out of the world's pattern of love into the flow of divine love. There you will no longer fear being hurt, for love is no longer a risk, it is a partnership with me. You will no longer fear abandonment, for I will never leave you. You will no longer seek love as a reward, for you will breathe it as your nature. and when you stand in my love, you will become a refuge for wandering hearts. You will love without exhaustion, for you draw from a well that never runs dry. You will give without loss, for every time you pour out, I pour in. Beloved, let my love become your very atmosphere, the breath you take, the rhythm of your heart. Let it color your words, your gaze, your forgiveness, your every step. When you love as I do, you will not only heal yourself, you will help set the world free. For true love is the strongest weapon of light. It conquers darkness without argument, turns enemies into brothers, and melts even the hardest souls before grace. And when you fully understand the difference between worldly love and sanctified love, I will teach you the final mystery love perfected within you. For love is not merely a gift you receive, but the nature you are called to become. True love does not end at knowledge or feeling, it becomes life itself. When love is perfected in you, you will not merely reflect me, you will host my very presence. As it is written, there is no fear in love. Perfect love drives out fear. 1. John 4:1-8. Fear springs from lack, but true love flows from wholeness. When my love is perfected in you, you will not fear loss, for nothing I give can be stolen. You will not fear rejection, for you are already accepted in me. You will not fear being forgotten, for I have engraved your name upon my hand. Fear once made you cling to what was gone, hold on to who was leaving, and trade peace for attention. But now love perfected will break every chain of fear. My beloved child, when love is perfected, you no longer love in order to be loved. In return, you love because you have already been loved enough. You no longer crave recognition, for I have already affirmed you. You no longer strive to be understood, for I understand you completely. You no longer compete for a place in anyone's heart, for you already have an eternal place in mine. My child, this is the freedom of one who truly loves. They do not live from lack, but from abundance. They do not love to be filled, but because they overflow. They do not fear love, for they know that true love cannot be defeated. They do not cling, for they know that what belongs to them in me will never depart. You will begin to see others not through the lens of past wounds, but through the light of grace. You will no longer respond to offense with defense, but with compassion. You will no longer desire to prove yourself right, but simply to live rightly in love. For when love reigns within you, peace becomes your natural reflex. You will no longer allow others to control your emotions, for only I have that right. You will no longer be swayed by praise or criticism, for your love stands upon an unshakable foundation upon me. Perfect love is not something you can forge through effort. It is the fruit of deep companionship with me. As you walk with me each day, listening, obeying, trusting, this love will grow like a tree nourished by morning dew. It takes root in stillness, stretches upward through trials, and bears fruit in my appointed time. There is no shortcut to perfect love, only steadfastness along the path of transformation. Each time you forgive, love grows stronger. Each time you choose kindness over bitterness, love deepens. Each time you preserve peace instead of reacting, love is perfected in you once more. When love is perfected, you will understand the language of heaven, a language the world cannot comprehend. It is the language of gentleness amid storms of light, in darkness of hope, in despair. When you speak this language, those around you will sense something that transcends words. They will see in you what they cannot name, yet their souls will recognize it. It is my presence. You will become a living letter through which others can read my love without a Bible being opened. You will not need to prove yourself, for the peace within you will be your most powerful testimony. Your past pain will no longer be a wound but a witness. You will look back not with bitterness but with gratitude. Those who once betrayed you will become proof of grace, for through them I taught you to love truly. The nights of tears will become songs, for there I met you most deeply. When you look back, you will see that everything had a purpose, to refine your love until no fear or condition remains. You will realize that true love is not the absence of pain, but the strength to endure it with a pure heart. Perfect love will make you a bearer of life. When you enter a room, the atmosphere will shift. When you speak, hearts will be comforted. When you pray, my presence will flow, not because you strive, but because I dwell in you. When my love fills you, everything you touch will be renewed. Others will feel peace without knowing why. They will find hope in your gaze alone. They will encounter me even when you say nothing. That is the power of perfect love. It needs no argument, only presence. You will no longer give impulsively out of emotion, but will listen to my voice to know when to open your heart and when to hold back. You will love without self-destruction, show mercy without being exploited. You will understand that goodness does not mean the absence of boundaries, and kindness does not mean weakness. For true love cannot be separated from truth. When you love, you will also speak truth in grace. You will know how to say no without losing tenderness, how to refuse without wounding, how to walk away without resentment. Perfect love within you will teach you to love as I love, steadfast, clear, and full of power. Every aspect of your life will change. Your work will become worship. Your relationships will become altars where I am honored. Even your smallest habits will reflect your devotion to me. You will act not out of duty, but out of love. You will pray not from fear, but from longing to be near. You will serve not for recognition, but out of gratitude. And when you live this way, you will know what true joy is, a joy no one can take away, for it flows from the one who never changes. My child, when love is perfected within you, you will walk without hesitation. You will love without fear of pain, believe without fear of disappointment, and give without fear of running dry. For you will know that the source of your love is not yourself, but me, the living one who never runs out. You will see that love is not a feeling to protect, but a flame to share. That flame does not fade. When you give it, it burns brighter. And when the world sees that light in you, they will know that you do not belong to darkness. Beloved, perfect love is the summit of every spiritual journey, not because it makes you flawless, but because it makes you like me. When you love truly, you live in the image I first created you to bear, the image of a soul that knows how to give, to forgive, to receive, and to trust. This is your return to your origin, where there is no distance between you and me. When you love truly, you return to Eden, not a place, but a state of oneness. And in that oneness, you will no longer see me as far away, but closer than your very breath. Do not resist, do not limit, do not fear. Let love cleanse the residue of pain, erase the memory of betrayal, and water the barren places of your soul. Let it quiet the voices of the past and awaken the call of your future. Let my love become your heartbeat, your breath, your purpose. When you live in true love, you will no longer merely be one who is loved. You will become a bearer of love. And the one who carries love carries my glory into the world. My child, the season of sending has come. You are no longer in preparation, you are stepping into commission. Everything you have endured, everything I have allowed, was never to break you, but to form you. You thought you were only learning to stand, but I was teaching you to walk on water. You thought you were only surviving trials, but I was shaping a warrior of the kingdom. My beloved child, you have been refined in fire, not to be consumed, but to become a keeper of the flame. This flame is not mere zeal. It is the light of understanding, of unconditional love, of heavenly justice. I have breathed life into the ashes you thought were dead, transforming you into a torch amidst the world's darkness. You are no longer one who bears wounds, but one who bears witness. No longer the broken, but the healer. No longer the seeker of justice, but the vessel through which divine justice flows. Understand this, every season of preparation points toward purpose. No trial has been wasted, no night of sorrow without meaning. Every tear you have shed I have used to water the seed of your calling. Every moment you chose silence, Instead of reaction, you were learning the language of heaven. Every act of forgiveness expanded the space where grace could dwell. Every step you took in faith, even without sight, built a bridge between heaven and earth. Now you are ready, not because you are flawless, but because you have allowed me to complete in you what needed to be fulfilled. It is time for me to bring you out from hiding. Just as David was anointed in the pasture before stepping into battle, you too have been anointed in solitude before being revealed to the world. When you were hidden, you thought you had been forgotten, but I was using stillness to lay a solid foundation. Many saw David's victory, but few knew of the nights he fought lions and bears in secret. So it is with you. You have fought battles unseen, and now I will reveal the triumph publicly. You will no longer stand behind. I will place you in front, not for applause, but so that my light within you may shine upon those still wandering in darkness. I have not called you to argue, but to illuminate. Not to prove, but to reveal. Not to demand justice, but to display mercy. This world does not need more noise, it needs light. It does not need more people speaking of love, but people who live it. You have learned of it, you have walked through it, and now you will become its living proof. I am sending you forth not as one who wields a sword, but as one who carries a lamp, not to condemn, but to awaken sleeping souls. When you speak, speak not from ambition, but from compassion. When you act, do not do so to be seen, but that I may be glorified. When you go, do not fear for you, do not walk alone. I go before you, beside you, and behind you. My child, in this season you will step through doors I have opened. There were doors you once knocked on that did not open because you were not yet prepared, but now the appointed time has come. I will open doors no one can shut, and close doors no one can open. You will witness divine coincidences, encounters long ordained in the courts of heaven. You will form new alignments with those I have chosen to labor alongside you. You will recognize them not by words, but by the peace that settles within you. For I am raising a new generation, those refined in silence, trained in storms, and sent forth in glory. You are part of that generation. Your mission does not lie in applause, but in faithfulness. Many are called, but few remain faithful when unseen. You are one who chose faithfulness in the hidden place, and for that reason I entrust to you what no one else can carry. Do not compare your path to another's, for your assignment bears the mark of heaven's fingerprint. I have not called you to chase fame, but to follow my will. And as you do, my name will be exalted through you, not by noise, but by fruit, souls touched hearts, healed spirits awakened. I am placing the weight of the kingdom upon your shoulders, but do not fear. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light, for I carry it with you. I do not require perfection, I desire obedience. When you obey, I will turn the small into the great, the ordinary into the miraculous. Moses had only a staff, yet I parted the sea through it. David had only a stone, yet I brought down a giant. You have only your faithfulness, yet I will use it to shake souls awake. Remember, I do not search for the talented, but for the willing, and you, my child, have been willing. Prepare your heart for the season of harvest. The seeds you sowed in tears will now bloom. The silent prayers you whispered will birth public miracles. Fields you thought barren will blossom again. But remember this, when the harvest comes, do not let the blessing overshadow the giver. Remember the source of all you have and remain humble. I bless not to elevate pride, but to turn you into a river of grace. When abundance overflows, let it pour forth freely. When you are lifted up, lift others with you. When glory comes, point it back to me. For true glory does not lie in what you achieve, but in how faithfully you reflect me. Do not be surprised if the winds of trial still blow. Glory is not birthed in ease, but in steadfastness amid struggle. Yet this time you will not tremble as before. The storm will no longer intimidate you, for you have learned how to stand within it. Darkness will no longer disorient you, for you have become the light. You will no longer ask why, for now you know for what purpose. All things are working toward a greater plan, and that purpose is now unfolding before your eyes. Beloved, your Kairos hour has come. It is not a random moment, but a divinely appointed time woven into heaven's timeline. Your season has been written in my calendar, and no one can delay it any longer. I have kept you hidden long enough, and now I say, step forward, not in the clamor of the world, but in the whisper of glory. I have placed my word in your mouth, my light in your eyes, and my fire in your heart. Go forth, my chill, not as one seeking a platform, but as one carrying my presence, not to make your own mark, but to leave heaven's imprint upon the earth. My beloved child, let me open your eyes to see what is unfolding in the heavenly realms, things your natural sight cannot perceive. For nothing I do on earth begins apart from heaven's command. Every step you are about to take, every word you will speak, every door you are about to walk through has already been prepared in the unseen dimension. You are living in a moment where heaven and earth intersect, where ancient promises are being fulfilled, and where prayers you thought forgotten are now being activated. Tonight, know this: heaven is moving on your behalf. In the unseen realm, angels have already been sent ahead to prepare the way. They go before you, removing obstacles you have not yet noticed, closing doors not meant for you, and opening the paths I have ordained. There are battles taking place not on the earth, but in the atmosphere, where the powers of darkness once sought to hinder my word from reaching you. Just as in the days of Daniel, when the archangel Michael contended with the prince of Persia so that my message could break through, now my angels also fight for you. They are not late. They arrive precisely in Kairos time, the divine moment when every element has been perfectly arranged by my hand. My child, all preparations in heaven are precise and orderly. Nothing in your journey is random. When I say go, the way has already been cleared. When I say speak, the hearts of the listeners have already been touched. When I say stand, the ground beneath your feet has already been strengthened. You think you are stepping into something new, but in truth, you are walking into promises long established. My angels surround you, not to make you afraid, but to remind you that you are never alone. They guard you, illuminate your path, and mark every place your feet tread with the seal of heaven. Heaven's preparation is not loud like thunder. It is silent yet powerful. While you pray, heaven moves. While you sleep, I work. While you wait, my plans unfold like the interlocking wheels in Ezekiel's vision, turning with perfect harmony, never out of alignment with my will. I orchestrate every detail, timing people and circumstances, weaving them together like the gears of a vast divine design. And when the moment arrives, all you will need to do is take one step and everything will align. Not because of your striving, but because of my preparation. Not because you are worthy, but because my grace has gone before you. Know this: when I send you, heaven takes note. Your commissioning is not a personal journey. It is a movement in the timeline of divine history. When I raise you up, I also displace old structures. When you step into new territory, I cause the powers that once occupied it to retreat. When you speak, walls that have long confined minds and hearts will crumble. For you do not merely carry words, you carry my presence. Every step you take declares heaven's decree on earth that light still triumphs over darkness, truth still prevails over lies, and grace is still stronger than sin. My child, every mission carries its protection. I never send anyone without first equipping them. Just as no soldier goes to battle without armor, neither do I send you uncovered. I clothe you with the armor of faith, crown you with victory, and place in your hand the sword of my word. The flaming arrows of the enemy will not strike you, for my shield surrounds you. The attacks will not cease, but they will fail. You will still see warfare, but you will also see my hand fighting for you. When you hear the wind moving through the treetops like footsteps upon the mulberry trees, it will be the sign that my armies are advancing. Heaven is not only preparing for you, it is preparing within you. I am restructuring the inner architecture of your soul so that you can contain greater glory. The old forms, though once good, can no longer hold what I am about to pour out. Just as new wine cannot be held in old wineskins, I must stretch your heart, widen your vision, and refine your motives so that the blessing will not crush you when it comes. You are being lifted higher in grace, but you must also be rooted deeper in character. For the depth of your roots will determine the height of your fruit. If you desire to stand firm in glory, you must first learn humility in secret. Heaven's preparation is not only to bless you, but to place you rightly within my divine formation. I am assembling an army of light, not those who merely speak of faith, but those who live by it. Each one holds a place, a purpose within the grand design. You are not called to do everything, but you are called to fulfill your part completely. When you stand in your rightful place, everything else aligns. When you are faithful in what I have entrusted to you, the kingdom expands. Just as in the body the hand need not do the work of the eye, nor the eye the work of the heart, every part, though small, is vital. You are one of those essential parts in my great plan. My child, when heaven moves, hell trembles. For each time a soul is set free, the kingdom of darkness loses ground. But do not fear, the enemy can roar, yet he cannot touch you if you remain in obedience. He will try to sow doubt, fear, and weariness. But remember, every true victory begins within. When your heart stands firm, no arrow can pierce it. When your mind rests in peace, no storm can shake it. When your gaze remains fixed upon me, the enemy collapses into confusion, for he cannot defeat the one who has learned to be still in me. The seal has been broken. On heaven's scale, your appointed hour has come. The angels bearing my signet have been sent forth to mark every work your hands will undertake. Every word you speak in obedience will not fall to the ground. Every step you take will become a seed for the generation to come. Every act of love will become a living testimony. For you are not living merely for the present, you are inscribing your story into the lineage of my kingdom, and your name I have written it in fire within the book of life. No power can erase it. No force can reverse it. Be at peace, all of heaven is cheering you on. A great cloud of witnesses surrounds you, those who have gone before you in faith, watching, rejoicing as you step into your portion. I am not only the God of the past, I am the God of this generation, and you are living proof that I still move. Lift up your head, my child, for my light now shines upon you. Everything has been prepared. Heaven is open, the earth is ready, and my word has been activated. Now all that remains is for you to walk forward. My beloved, now that the heavens are aligned, the angels in position, and the lamp within you burning bright, the hour of full glory draws near. This is no longer a distant promise, but a divine reality descending upon your life. You have passed through the night, endured the fire, been reborn in love, and now you will rise in resurrection light. You are no longer one being healed, but one who carries healing. No longer a seeker, but one who is sent. No longer only a listener to my voice, but a vessel through which my voice resounds upon the earth. I tell you, your season of testing is complete. What you thought was a loss was an exchange. You traded fear for faith, brokenness for purpose, tears for spiritual authority. The years that seemed silent were not delays, but seasons of cultivation, like a seed buried in the soil, not forgotten, but germinating in stillness. And now you are breaking through the ground, stretching toward the new light. Do not fear transformation, for everything reborn must first shed its shell. You are no longer the seed, you are the tree that bears fruit. My child, I have placed within you the light of the kingdom, not a light for decoration, but for illumination, not to make you admired, but to guide the lost. The world is drowning in the night of chaos, hatred, and deceit, and I am sending you forth as a flame in the darkness. Your light need not strive. Its very presence drives back the night. Remember this, you are not called to conquer with argument, but with presence, not with shouts, but with love, not by human strength, but by the power of my Spirit within you. In this season of glory, all old limitations will be broken. The chains that once bound you will no longer hold. The fear that silenced you will fade. The doubt that halted you will disappear. You will no longer see yourself through the mirror of others, but through my gaze. You will speak as one who has seen, walk as one who knows, and love as one overflowing. Those who doubted you will see my light, confirm you. Those who dismissed you will watch me lift you, not so you may retaliate, but so that they may witness grace triumphing over offense. My child, I am opening the windows of heaven over you. Grace will pour like early rain, and the barren places within you will bloom. You will witness miracles without asking, for they are the natural rhythm of those who walk in the kingdom. You will see provision from my hand, protection from my angels, wisdom from my Spirit. But remember, these miracles are not to prove your worth, but to display my glory. When you pray, I will answer swiftly, not because you are more deserving, but because you are now walking in sync with heaven. You are in harmony with my will, and when your heart and mind move as one, the earth will yield. Guard your heart with humility in this season of glory, for great light always brings the temptation of pride. The enemy can no longer defeat you with pain, so he will try to ensnare you with praise. Remember, glory is not something you own, but something you carry. It belongs not to you, but to me. When you remember this, you will always be safe. True glory never exalts you above others. It brings you lower in compassion. It does not make you proud, but gentle. It does not close your heart, but opens it, reflecting the light instead of grasping it. I will send you to places you never imagined. There are people waiting to hear your voice, though they do not yet know your name. There are spiritual fields awaiting your footsteps to be unlocked. There are prayers of others waiting for you to become the answer. And there are generations yet unborn who will know me through the river you open today. Do not underestimate the power of a soul touched by the Holy Spirit. One life transformed by true love can shift nations. You need not compete for a place, for I have already appointed yours. You need not knock, for I have already opened the door. Simply walk in peace, and everything else will align. Glory is not the reward, it is the continuation. It does not mark the end of the journey, but the beginning of a deeper one. Every mountain peak is only the starting point of a higher ascent. I do not lift you up so you can stop climbing, but so you can see farther. My kingdom never stands still. It expands, it advances, it moves ever forward. Keep your heart tender, for what I teach you today will open what I will do tomorrow. Keep your hands open, not just to receive, but to give. For I do not bless you to contain, but to become the blessing itself. My beloved, full glory is not light that shines upon you, but light that shines from within. When your soul is one with my Spirit, all human limits dissolve. You will see with my eyes, hear with my ears, feel with my heart. You will walk among men, yet not belong to the world. You will live among people, yet your spirit will dwell in heaven. Wherever you go, my kingdom will go with you. Wherever you pray, the atmosphere will shift. Wherever you stand, darkness will recede. You will no longer merely bear my name, you will embody my nature in all that you do. My child, every promise I have spoken will now take form. No longer as words in prayer, but as living evidence in your life. What you once saw in dreams, you will now touch with your hands. What you once hoped for, you will now behold with your eyes. Dreams you thought had died, I will resurrect. For my word never returns void, and every prophecy concerning you will be fulfilled in its appointed time. And like Job, you will one day say, my ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Job 4:2-5. This is the hour of union. You and I are no longer apart. You need not strive to draw near, for I already dwell within you. Your breath is my breath. When you speak, I speak through you. When you love, I love through you. When you forgive, I move within you. And when you walk, your footsteps bear the marks of the one who has already triumphed. There is nothing left to fear, nothing left to prove, nothing left to cling to, only perfect oneness between your soul and my heart. Rest now in this glory, not to pause, but to align with eternity's rhythm. Let me take you farther than sight can reach, deeper than sound can tell, and wider than your dreams can hold. For this is the moment you no longer live for yourself, but to reveal me. This is the season I send you out, and the season I dwell within you most powerfully. You will be my voice in the world, my breath in barren places, my hand upon the broken. And when people ask, how do you still stand, still love, still remain in peace amid the storm, you will smile and say, it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Your journey has not ended, it has just begun. The old chapters have closed, but a new story is being written in light. No more tears, only testimony. No more ruins, only glory. No more timid prayers, but declarations of power. No more waiting in the dark, but walking in eternal dawn. Heaven awaits you. The world needs you. And I, the one who called, redeemed, refined, and sent you, walk beside you still. For glory has come, and glory will continue to come. Thank you for receiving this message today. Subscribe and activate the notification bell so that together we may receive living words, build unshakable faith, and walk daily in the boundless love of God. Amen.